Hi everyone, welcome to the first episode of One Board Gamer. I'm Chris with Derby Comics and Games, and today I'm going to play through the 1 to 4 player game Cascadia, developed by Randy Flynn, with art by Beth Sobel, and published by Flat Out Games. But before we get into the game, I just want to thank everyone who watched the first board game opener video last week. I hope you really enjoyed the content as much as I had fun making it and putting it out there. If you didn't get a chance to see the video, I'll put a link to it in the description below. Now, let's get on with the game. To save some time, I've done some of the setup for the game already. The solo variant is just a 2-player setup with a few different rules. The same number of tiles are drawn as in a 2-player game, which is 43. And we'll go through some of the different rules as we start playing through the game. One of the things not included in the game is this very nice 3D printed table area organizer, but I'll have more information about how you can get your own copy of that at the end of the game. With the tiles already organized like that, we can put aside the rest of the tiles. Those will not be used for the rest of the game. In addition, I do have a little tray holder that I 3D printed myself for the pine cones, and we'll talk about how those are used in the game in a little bit. Our score sheet can be set aside until the end of the game. And our tiles that we're going to draw are going to be over here. We'll be drawing those every round. The scoring cards that I've put up here are the standard scoring for a beginner game like this. There are a few different options, including a family variant and an intermediate variant that can be used along with several different variations of each of the animals that you can mix and match into your game to give it a little variety as you play through it again. The first thing that we need to do is set up our player area. So with that, you draw one of these tiles, 4 in total. And if you don't have this little setup, you can just make your own kind of row here, because these are going to be the ones that are getting drafted, and each one of these gets an associated animal marker. Now, one of the rules in Cascadia is if you ever get 3 of the same type of animal on this board, the player is allowed to take all 3 of those off, insert new ones, and start again, and with their choices. In addition, if it happens to get 4 of the same kind, that same action can be taken, and it would create a whole new set of animal tiles for the player to do. So, the only other setup that we have to do is draw our starting player board. These are starter habitat tiles. We'll give those just a quick shuffle, and we will draw one and place it in the front of our play area. With that all set up, we begin our first turn. Now, there's a couple symbols we can talk about on each of these tiles, which are relevant. Each one has 1 or 2 different habitats that are associated with the tile, and 1 to 3 different animals that can be placed on there. You'll notice in the top one here, there is a little pine cone symbol with this arrow. When you put an animal down on one of those, you get one of these pine cones. The pine cone tokens allow you to have an extra ability anytime you have one in your play area. With one of these, you can spend it to take any one of the 4 habitat tiles and a separate animal tile, or you can wipe any number of wildlife tokens and replace them. There's no limit to the number of these tokens that you can have, and so we'll be getting those throughout the gameplay here. All right, so the steps in Cascadia for a drafting game like this are relatively simple. All that you're doing is taking one pair of tile and token and placing it somewhere next to one of your sides, and then placing the associated animal on one that has the associated animal tile. So let's take a look here. The other thing to also point out is the scoring opportunities. So there are going to be scoring points at the end of the game for the largest contiguous sections of forest, water, marsh, grasslands, mountains, all together. In addition, each one of these animals have their own requirements. For instance, the salmon get points based on the number of continuous connected salmon there are altogether. Does not require to be straight or any other way. Foxes are scored by each fox and how many animals are surrounding that fox. Hawks are scored when there are no other hawks around adjacent spots. Bears are counted when there are two bears next to each other and no other bears in the areas around them. And elks are counted in straight lines. So if you have 2 in a straight line, 5 points, 3, 4, etc. And one elk cannot be used for 2 scoring opportunities. So, with our starting tile here and what we've got, I am going to actually pick this combination right here. And we'll put it down here. And now we have to choose one area for the bear. Now we've only got 2 areas or 2 spaces that the bear can have valid placement. So we'll put it down on this one to start off. Now the one specific rule for the solo play is that it requires for the player, once they have made their move and drawn their tile and token, to discard the one furthest to the right from the game and have that set aside. Then the 2 subsequent ones are moved over. And 2 new ones are placed down with corresponding animal tokens on there. And then we begin again. This play continues like this for 20 rounds. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, but it really does kind of move quickly once you kind of get in the rhythm of playing the game and trying to decide what you're going to go for, whether you want to have more planes, score with that, or try to work on your animal scores with particular ones that come out like that. So we'll just keep playing through like this, and I'll go through some more details as we come into them. This one, for instance, I'm going to grab this. Now notice that you have the choice to choose how this tile is orientated. Any rotation is valid, but you want to try to match up similar colored landscapes so that you get larger parts of it. Again, we've got the hawk here, and for this one, I'm going to actually put it right here. And like I said, when you place it on the habitat tile with a nature token, you get one of these to use in a later round. So once again, we will discard the furthest right, move these over, and then redraw. Okay. Well, I'm liking that bear and elk combo, so I can start kind of working my mountains, and then I've also got another nature token there. There's our two bears, so that means that at least one pair I will get 4 points as long as there are no other bears in the surrounding area when I score points at the end of the game. We'll remove this piece here. That little shake. And let's see, we've got... So, I am going to take this elk and associated one there, and I'm going to start building out some mountains. Just like that. So, in this case here, obviously, the furthest right, I'm just going to count this bottom right one as the furthest right, and do that. And then pull down the other ones accordingly. And just for fun, oh, looks like we have this option here for pulling the 3 hawks. Now, that is an option the player can choose to do. It's not something they have to do. So let's put those guys back. But you know what? I am going to do that. So I'm going to take these 3, set them aside, and then I'm going to pull 3 new bits. Now, if this were to happen again, like it just did, we're seeing here, we would have to play with what's actually in the arrangement. So, we are definitely going bear this time. But let's see what we can do with that. Now, I want to try to avoid a lot of these spots that actually do have a bear. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do here is grab this just like that and put the bear. Now again, since there are I'm trying to keep any other bears from any adjacent tiles over there like that. So we'll clear that. Move these 2 over. And refresh. And once again, we have the 3 bears like that. And since I'm trying to avoid some of the bears too, I'm going to set those aside. And put down 3 new ones. And then these ones just get put back in the bag. All right. Foxes. Now, foxes like to be by other foxes, including foxes just as they are. So let's see what we've got there for options. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this tile here, like that, and then this fox can go up here. Now, let's say you don't have this little holder and things like this, which is purely optional. It's just something I wanted to print out to see how I liked it and stuff like that. Normal arrangement would just go like this. With this off to the side. Now, of course, the furthest right one would get discarded again. These 2 would slide over. And we'd populate 2 new ones. just like that. And then we're back in our next step. And for this one, you know what? Let's start some salmon here. I'm going to grab these two. We're going to expand out our mountain area like that. And then we're going to place our salmon in this spot right here. All right. Okay, I really like the idea of having another elk. So I'm going to grab that combination right. Actually, you know what, though? Want that? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to spend one of my nature tokens, and that allows me to pick a different token and tile on my turn. So I'm going to take this. I definitely want that elk. I'm really trying to boost that up. But you know what? I also want to kind of expand out my plains a little bit here, and maybe even eventually get some more salmon going. So I kind of like that idea. Again, elk, we're going to put that right there. And now what we've got, we still remove the furthest right tile here, like that. These slide over, and then these two slide over. And we just keep going. Now, obviously, for like a 3, 4 player, even a 2-player game, turns are going to pass back and forth every time the tile gets moved, another one gets replaced with that. So there is a little bit of back and forth as far as who gets what tiles for kind of what their setup is looking to do, which is some of the fun of the game. Actually, here we go. I like this here. And we'll take that salmon. And again, I'm going to try to kind of do a little bit of a salmon run with that. There. Pull those two down. Okay. Another bear. Salmon. Another eagle. Or yeah, hawk. It's a hawk. I'm going to grab the hawk, actually. Put it over here, and I'm going to start a new hawk. Now, this area here, as long as, well, I shouldn't be having to be able to put a hawk there. This should be able to score me points for one hawk all alone. I'm going to try to work on getting another hawk over on this side here. Now, I've only played this game a few times to kind of get familiar with it for the video, and just kind of to understand the rules a little bit. But this does move relatively quickly once you kind of start moving through all the motions and everything like that. Ooh, another bear. Another elk. Now, I've got a couple elk here. Unfortunately, trying to put, for instance, the elk here and doing this would mean that this would break this setup. So I could either score for these two or for these two, but not both of them in the same way. Although I do like having the ability to get another nature token off of that one right there. So I'm wondering if it's worth me breaking up this whole set to get 3 in a row and keep that going or not. Because I really don't have any other forest, I kind of want to keep that alone. So let's see what other options we've got here. I want to do the bear, because again, we're still having the same issue. I want to try to get the bear somewhere, and that's just not a great environment for that. The hawk, I don't really want to deal with a hawk right now. Oh gosh. We're going to have to, you know what? We're just going to have to play this here. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to put this, actually, that'll be kind of fun. Kind of start a new little mountain area up here. We'll put this elk right there like that. So, same piece, but just kind of a different arrangement there for that. Start drawing a little more from that side. And again, I shuffled all these beforehand and everything like that. Trust me, I'm not that skilled to actually like be setting this up for some amazing gameplay experience here. I'm just showing how an average game is kind of played out and going through here. Ooh, nice. Another salmon. And fox. Fox there, but I don't have any spaces for foxes right now. So ideally I wouldn't want to take this one, because if you can't fit your piece, then it's just discarded. So we really want to kind of optimize our selection here, and I think this is going to be our best choice. But how are we going to position it here? Kind of got these swamps, unfortunately, kind of locked down here. Mountains, on the other hand, we've got some space. And you know what? We're gonna try to do another salmon kind of run right here, like this, and just go right there. Okay. Elk. Elk in that. And you can see where your options and your kind of strategy can kind of get derailed. I'm still trying to look for another elk that I can put down here. Got an elk right there. Unfortunately, I don't have any nature tokens, so I can't really modify my actions right now. So, got to kind of work with what I got. And in that regard, we're going to put another hawk over here. This water going, and again, we're going to keep this over here, so we should have plenty of room. I feel like that's going to topple any moment there. So the other interesting thing that came out of Gen Con this year is that Cascadia is going to have an expansion, which is going to add some new features, new tokens, new tiles, and stuff like that. So that will definitely be something we'll be looking at getting into the store here. Ooh. So we've got this guy right here. But the only other bear tile I have would give me a little bit of trouble right there. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to grab this. And keep this forest area going. I'm going to put this elk up here. So now, since I put the elk there, I get one of these nature tokens that I can use in a later round. All right, another salmon. Awesome. Let's see. Hawk, the bear. I'm going to go with the bear and this fox here. I'm going to put this right here. I'm going to put the bear here, which will get me another set of points as long as there aren't any other bears around it at the end of the game. There. Bear with a bear. Hey, look at that. Oh boy, let's see now. How are our salmon looking? We got a salmon and mountain here. So, could keep going on the plains. We could keep adding to the mountain a little bit. But the salmon, I'm definitely going to be dropping right there. So, you know what? Let's close that up. Let's put our salmon down here. And let's do that. Right. Okay, another elk. Bears, salmon. No foxes, unfortunately. No salmon. That's not very helpful. The hawk. I feel like I've kind of spread out a lot of my hawks here. I don't know if I really want to start another one of those. Let's see here. You know what? We're going to go for kind of maybe some easy scoring here. We're going to put this bear down here, which will get us another nature token on our board. We'll clear these guys out of the way. Then we'll see what we get here. All right, 3 hawks. I am definitely going to redraw those because, like I said, I am not really looking for those right now. I'm sure there's a great strategy for them. Again, just kind of starting new. I'm kind of leaning more towards like the salmon, the fox, the bear, and the elk. And as you see, we can see we've got only about 5 tiles left, so basically 5 turns left of our game. So we really kind of want to try to, you know, finish up what we can as far as, you know, scoring opportunities with this. So, and you know what? I'm going to spend one of my nature tokens. I'm going to take a salmon and this river piece, well, river and mountain piece. I'm going to extend this a little more. And I'm going to put that down there like that. Then we'll take the farthest right 2 items again, pull those out, and then bring those over. All right. Full foxes, full bears. Now, again, I think I'm going to spend this once again to get this combination fox and bear tile right here. I'm going to put the bear tile right here. I'm going to put the fox right here, which will also get me another nature token. Again, furthest right token and tile. Then these all kind of shift down like that. Oops, 3 foxes. Do I want to redraw those? I think what kind of my end game, because this is pretty much my last turn. And if you're ever kind of curious about that, well, you know, what what does 20 turns look like? You should have 20 tiles on the board, each player. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And I'm not counting the starting tile that we have. So this will be my last tile to put down. And I don't have a lot of fours, so actually I'm going to make this kind of simple here. I'm just going to put that, and I'm going to put that. Now, technically, and again, the rule is when you can't really draw back up to the full amount of tiles, the 4, then the game ends. Without having another tile there, that game has ended, so that is the end of our game. Now we actually go into the scoring period. So and for those, we have these lovely little cards. They are double-sided, like I mentioned in my first box. That's actually my first game right there, scoring. Got 81 points, so let's see how well I do this time. And the whole idea here is that you just kind of go down. We're going to go Chris. So it allows up to your 4 players there. And what you do is you're going to score your bears. So our bears right here are 4 points for 1 pair, 11 points for 2. Let's see, so we've got 2 pairs of bears, and there are no other bears surrounding them, so that will give us 11 points. The next one is elk. Elk scores for the straight line of elk that we have. So we've got 2 elk in a line here, that's 5 points, and another 2 here, so that is 10 points. Salmon. Salmon have for the rows like we talked about, so we've got a row of 3 here. That's going to be 8 points, and we've got 1 lonely salmon here, so that's going to give us 10 points. Next up is the hawks, and the hawks are separate. Now, the tiles don't actually have to be there, it just has to be not surrounded by any animal, any other hawks. So we have 1, 2, 3, giving us 8 points for the hawks. Foxes are a little fun because they're counted, and especially when you have multiple foxes, but for this instance, we score the number of unique adjacent animals. So for this fox here, 1, 2, 3, 4. For this fox, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, so that's 8 total. And then for this fox, we have 1, 2, so that gives us another 10 points. Those are all the foxes that we have. At that point, they want you to math up the initial score there. So 10, 10, 10, 30, 41, 49 points for that. And now we actually go into the different habitat tiles. Now, the habitat tiles are scored by the one with the most tiles, so the majority of them. And for a solo play, if there is a section that has 7 or more tiles, you get an additional 2 bonus points for that. So we're going to start off with mountains, and basically what you do is you count connected mountains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 over there, and we only have 3 there, so 6 is going to be our largest run. So forest, same thing here. I think the only forest we've got is this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one isn't connecting. For the plains, let's see, there's a 3 there, or there's a 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll go with the 4. For the swamps, I had something kind of going at the beginning, and then I sort of boxed myself in. So fortunately, 1, 2, 3, 4, only 4 points for that as well. And then rivers. So rivers, there's 2 there. Here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I was hoping to get over there, but I didn't. So that's 4, and then we just, again, add these all up. So 10, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. And then for every nature token that you keep, you get 1 point. So with that all added up, we have 50, 60, 70, 2 points. So unfortunately, I didn't do as good as I did in the first one. And it's kind of fun. In the rules here, they have a little solo endgame and scoring, and give you a little challenge here. So 70 plus, yeah, I'm getting it. Definitely wasn't my best game for sure, but that's okay. Sometimes it's how the tiles draw, sometimes it's the strategy. That's kind of the fun every time you get a chance to try out the game, especially in solo mode. And so that was a quick playthrough of Cascadia. The differences with the number of people are going to be the number of tiles you get, because of course there's going to be more people drawing and drafting and everything like that. The scoring cards, like you said, we started off with the A's, but there are several different variations on the salmon, the fox, the bear, the elk, and the hawk, along with, we mentioned, of course, the family variant here, and an intermediate variant, which they talk about in the rules. I really enjoyed playing this game. I know that it obviously won some good awards in 2022 here, and I really hadn't given it a chance until we got it in the store. I was able to open it up, and it's a real fun little game. It's got a lot of strategy, a lot of depth in it. The only thing that I would say is kind of, you know, the downside is you don't have a lot of interaction between your other players here, you know. Really, the only interaction comes in, you know, hoping that you can get the tile that you want, because if that person takes that tile, or if they see on your board that, you know, you're trying to get this massive salmon run or whatever it is like that, they can kind of try to, you know, lock you out of that opportunity there. That's really the only interaction that they have with the base game like that. Like we talked a little bit about in the opener here, the opportunity for achievements in the game, the whole campaign mode, and kind of scoring like that is a huge plus for the game. It really does give it legs and lets you really try out all the different cards, because each one of the scenarios kind of tells you what card, and they're all lettered in the bottom right there. They're going to go through a bunch of different variations, which will really kind of change up how you play the game. And what's great is you can do that solo, you can play it all together, you can play 2-player, and it all just works. If you're interested in picking up your own copy of Cascadia, it is available at Derby Comics and Games, of course, and we talked about that before, but it is $39.99 at the time of this video, and we've got plenty in stock. This exact copy will actually be in our demo library, along with all of our other great games that we have for people to come in and try out and play. And in addition, what we're doing with these 3D printed area managers is that if you come in and buy Cascadia and any other AEG game, we will give you one of these for free. So it's just a little thank you for watching the video, seeing this, and that's, you know, where we're going to be having the promotion, talking about it. Well, obviously, if you come in the store too, we'll let you know that the deal is there. But we've only got 2 of those available, so definitely swing on by if you're interested in this game. Pick that up, and one of the other great games from AEG. You can have a lot of fun with them. I just want to say, once again, thank you so much for everyone that has seen the videos, talked with us, kind of given me feedback. This is sort of just a labor of love for me. Try something out new. It's gotten me a chance to just play around with, you know, video, lighting, sound, all that fun. You know, we of course would appreciate if you give us a like, a subscribe, put some comments into our video just to let us know how we're doing, how the video looks, how the lighting looks, stuff like that. If you like the approach with the playthrough, which is a little more casual, it's not as structured, of course. Any comments you put in the video, I'll try to respond back, answering any questions you might have as soon as I can. But for any other news about the store, including events, learn to plays, meetups, other activities, be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We also keep an up-to-date calendar of events on our webpage, which will be included in the description below. From all of us at Derby Comics and Games, thank you for watching, and we hope to see you in the store real soon. Bye now.